Once again, if you guys like the content we provide, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. We have a lot to look forward to here this weekend at the Route 66 Nationals, all brought to you by our friends at Peak Performance. So if you don't want to miss out on any of the action, be sure to subscribe today. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Round 6 of the NHRA Tour takes the series out to the windy city of Chicago to the Route 66 Raceway for the Gerber Collisions Route 66 Nationals powered by Peak Performance. And the windy city lived up to the expectations as teams arrived Friday morning to a strong northwestern breeze blowing across the facility all day long as severe weather plagued the areas north and south of the racetrack and eventually canceled the remainder of the day's action as a dust storm blew across the facility right after the end of top fuel. The Route 66 Nationals acts as the starting point to the summer stretch of the 2025 season, as well as the start of the season for many of the part-time teams that run throughout the Midwest dates of the tour, many of which being capable of winning national events. The best example of this would be Chicago native TJ Zizzo, who arrived through Route 66 Raceway believing that they have found improvements in their performance for the 2025 season.
We're actually stronger. When we came here last year and qualified number one, that was really an honor, and it wasn't expected. Then we went along throughout the year and just got better and better and better. And we're here this year with way better parts and pieces than we were last year here. So we just keep on making inroads and trying to do a really good job to come out here and try to qualify number one. And that's wonderful. But we're kind of over that. We need to go to that next hump of trying to win the event. Because truly, no matter where you qualify, you still need the racing gods to shine down on you. And you still need to be all very well focused and organized for Sunday. Truthfully, if you qualify number one, I had to race, Tony Stewart last year, first round? Tough round matchup. So as long as you qualify for these events, you have a really good chance of winning because there's really 14 really good cars here. And there's 17 cars on the property. And truly, yeah, we were number one last year, but we cannot qualify this year. That's how strong and hard and challenging the sport is.
Another driver making their start to the season is Top Fuel hopeful Will Smith, who arrives piloting the Luigi Novelli team's Top Fuel dragster as he looks to find more seat time behind a Top Fuel.
Well, I got to meet Lou and a lot of his crew guys, years ago when I drove for Dave Barado, the A-Fuel cars, and just, relationships. And after driving with Dixon, and we, ran some races, and, just this opportunity come about while we were trying to get back out, and so it's a good opportunity to get back out, make some runs, get some more experience, and try to help these guys, the best I can, and everybody make some career best runs. So that's our goal here, and we did well in Vegas. Unfortunately we didn't make the field, but the car had recently been redone, and that was really the first time out with it, so it was more so like a test session. And we were happy with the results and the things that kind of got in our way there. We figured them out, and now it's fixed. And just looking forward to, I have no doubts to go right down the track and see where we stack up at.
Ron Capps arrives in Chicago still rebounding after a devastating crash back at Firebird Raceway that destroyed his new chassis, and now finds himself with a newfound confidence after making the final round at the last race in Charlotte.
We had the final round in Gainesville. We felt like that race was ours. We let it get away. We got those are the weekends you still have a good weekend, but you could have left with a trophy. And those are hard to swallow as well. So obviously the Phoenix wreck took out a brand new car that we were running. We were really happy with that chassis. So we got a new one being built, and it just kind of put Guido back on his heels a little bit. We had to bring the other car out. We still ran good. It's just it's not the same. So we finally got a handle back on it. We left Pomona where we ran really good, and went to Charlotte and had a fantastic weekend. Vegas was kind of a strange weekend for everybody with the track prep and all that, so you can kind of throw that away. But Charlotte, I really feel like he got his confidence back. I got my confidence back. And I feel like, you always knock on wood when you say it, but I feel like we've got our hot rod back where Guido's comfortable with it, with the clutch pack that he's got in it right now.
Richard Gatson also makes his way into Charlotte confident in his performance. After falling short in a nail-biting loss to Matt Smith to deny him his first national event win, he now knows that the first Raleigh is just around the corner.
Yeah, and and I tell people all the time, it's got to be your day. You know, you can do everything perfect, and the other guy in the other lane just does it a little bit more perfecter. So, and that was what Matt did. He stepped up. He showed why he was a 6-time champion. But I think he knows that that he's got to worry about 2 Vance Hines bikes now and not just one. So I'll take that as a small victory. I did beat him in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. So, you know, I gave him a run for his money all weekend, and you know, that's what we just want to keep doing. And you know, he's going to be there. He's going to do what he does all the time. Gage is going to do what he does all the time. And you got other people. Chase Van Sant, Steve did a great job. That was 4 people that wanted to win that race. So happy to be back 2-wide racing. Only got to beat 1 person again. And you know, hopefully we get that Wally this weekend.
Protect your vehicle with Peak Original Equipment Technology. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle.
Pro Stock Motorcycle would only complete 1 round of qualifying today. Due to the high winds around the time the Q2 was about to start, teams went to the series and told them they did not want to run in these conditions. NHRA tried to move them to after top fuel, but due to the continuance of the high winds as well as the increasing dust storm that rolled across the racetrack, Q2 has now been moved to Saturday morning. After Q1, Angie Smith holds a top honors of a 679 with a 7. Richard Gadsden, who we just spoke to earlier, finishes second to round out the day with a 682 with a 4. Third is going to be Chase Van Sant. 4th, Kelly Klons, a good start to the weekend for her. Mark Ingerson rounds out in the 5th position. John Hall back in 6th. Gianna Varisto running the Matt Smith Racing, Scrappers Racing motorcycle finishes in 7th. Chris Bostek rounds out the top half. In the 9th, you're going to find Steve Johnson, Gino Scali in 10th. Matt Smith surprising run down in 11th. Wesley Wells in 12th. Ryan Naylor 13th. Gage Herrera surprising 14th. And Lance Bonham rounds out in 15th. In the funny car, after 2 rounds of qualifying, J.R. Todd ends the day number 1 with a 398 with a 2. Alex DeJoria with a surprising start to the weekend. She ends up in 2nd. Daniel Wilkerson, hometown driver, ends up in 3rd with a 399 with an 8. He beats Ron Capps on mile an hour in a tiebreaker, who rounds out in 4th. Jack Beckman ends up 5th. Bobby Bodie, who entered Q2 number 1, he falls down to the 6th spot. Matt Hagan ends up 7th. Bob Tasker, 3rd, rounds out the top half. Cruz Pedregon finishes once again in the 9th position to end out Friday night. Chad Green ends in 10th. Buddy Hole 11th. Dave Richards down in the 12th spot. Paul Lee, a disappointing start to the weekend in 13th. Equally disappointing for Austin Prague down in 14th. Blake Alexander in 15th. And Chris King, who sat out Q1, he made his Q2 run. He sits on the bump. Not in the show so far. Spencer Hyde, Dale Creasy Jr., and Justin Schrieffer. And for top fuel, Doug Collette ends the day in the number 1 spot with a 378 with an 8. Justin Ashley, an impressive run, ends up in 2nd. Brittany Force down in 3rd. Josh Hart, a great start to the weekend in the 4th spot. Clay Milliken down in 5th. Tony Stewart continues his impressive performance so far this season. He ends up in 6th. TJ Zizzo, the super part-timer in the series, he ends up 7th. Antron Brown, who we saw earlier this week testing at RP, he ends up in the top half in 8th with a 390 with a 7. In the 9th position, you're going to find Steve Torrance. In 10th is going to be Sean Reed with a 415 with a 0. Will Smith, an incredible start to the weekend. He holds on to 11th thanks to a tricky track condition with a 415 with a 9. Dan Mercier ends up in 12th. Kyle Wurzel in 13th. Terry Todd in 14th. Lex June ends up in 15th. And Spencer Massey is on the bump with a 628 with a 4. As for final thoughts on today, we had an incredible tricky track to start off in Q number 1 because of the fact of the lack of rubber, because of the fact this hasn't been rained on since last year at the Route 66 Nationals. Q1 was tricky as they just tried to put rubber down on the racetrack. When it came up for Q2, equally tricky track conditions, not even so much because of the racetrack, but because of, as you can see behind me, you can't even see the top end anymore. It's just completely dust. I have dirt in my throat. I can't even really breathe right now. This is absolutely incredible. We saw the dust storm rolling right across the pits, right over behind my shoulder. This is incredible. We joked about this with my camera guys, Brody and Kevin, that every time we go to a race, something crazy happens. We were in Pomona when the plane crash happened, and now we're here for a dust storm, and we've been at every single crazy event that's happened in the last couple of years, and it's just, man, you can't even write this stuff. For qualifying again, today was kind of a starting point for the weekend. Not too many teams had high hopes on today's conditions. They're really more focused on tomorrow, where more rubber is going to be laid down, and the cooler track conditions. We're going to give them a lot better opportunities to put down some fast runs. That's what we're going to expect tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, as we're going to have much, much cooler conditions. They're going to be even colder on Sunday for elimination, so you're going to have an absolutely incredible weekend right after this dust blows across the racetrack and they clean up the racetrack and we're able to go racing tomorrow morning. So Again, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been an incredible start to the weekend so far as we ramp up our month of May coverage here for the Route 66 Nationals and the upcoming Indianapolis 500. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you to our friends at Peak Performance who have hooked us up all season long so we can come out here and cover these races. And until tomorrow afternoon and hopefully much, much more beautiful conditions. Again, subscribe down below, hit the notification bell, comment what you thought of today's action, who you think is going to win this weekend. Be sure to follow us on all the social media pages down below by Matt Coulter on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And until tomorrow morning and hopefully better conditions, this is Money Mac. We'll see